It's a great honor to talk to such a wonderful audience as you are, especially for 6 years in a row. And I would like to talk a little bit today about what we do in company that I work for in Daft Code to build engineering culture. And because we're on AgileByExample conference, we're gonna talk about examples. But we ain't gonna talk about test-driven development, and we ain't gonna talk about continuous deployment and continuous integration. We ain't gonna talk about software architecture and design and Scrum process and Scrum implementing and all this boring stuff. We're gonna talk about fun parts of it. So, building engineering culture starts long before you actually work with people that's gonna be part of your engineering culture. So it starts long before they join company. It starts by attracting people that already have the right mindset, people that you would like to work with, people that can get excited about building high quality stuff, people that will build a culture with you. So I'll start with employer branding, and we'll talk a little bit about Hackroom. So Hackroom is a PR stunt that we did last holidays last summer to attract young talented engineers to our company. So you could learn about Hackroom, you could read about it in the newspaper, or you can hear about it in the radio. And then when you went to Hackroom website, you could see following animation. You can see the story of Word being taken over by corporations, and corporations exercising then power via computer systems and taking away all the freedom from humanity. And you, as a young hacker, was in front of a challenge to hack into corporate systems and make the world free again. And there was a puzzle on the website. And if you solve the puzzle, you get to invite it into Hackroom. So what's a Hackroom? Hackroom is a unique escape room. So a place where you are being closed for an hour or so, and you have to solve a number of puzzles to be able to escape. And because Hackroom was for engineering talents, it was all about algorithms, mathematics, software engineering, and stuff like that, the puzzles that you had to solve to escape the room. It was all offline activities, no internet, no computer or mobile phone allowed. And we targeted our action towards students, fresh graduates of computer science, and all kinds of IT enthusiasts. You can take a closer look from behind the bars. This is how Hackroom looked like. This is from the inside, and you can see some of the puzzles on the monitors of the on the screens, and also the puzzles were all over on the walls and so on. So Hackroom became quite a success. We had over 11,000 visits on the website, translating to almost 4,000 different users. And if you know anything about online marketing, we have 2.5 time average time on the page, meaning that people actually came to page to solve puzzle, not to just enter and exit the page. Then we have over 1,200 finished games, almost 100 different universities from all over Poland, and finally 65 teams attended a challenge inside Hackroom. So that was a Hackroom, that was our onboarding stunt we did this year. So, and the second important moment that happens just before people join your company is onboarding. So it's a moment when expectations are being built. It's a moment when people build a vision in their head how they're gonna proceed in the company for the following, hopefully next years, couple next years. And onboarding is also a moment that people get informed about how the company works and what is the role in the company and what is the role of different people. And that's gonna affect tremendously how they're gonna behave in the future in your company. So when we do onboarding, it starts with Daftbook. Daftbook is an employee guide, an employee handbook, and it's full of useful information. Here's a couple of examples. It talks about how we work, about Agile, Scrum, and Kanban, and all those things that we do to build expectations. Okay, this is how we work, this is why we work that way, and this is what I should be expecting. It also talks a lot about self-development and sharpening skills, about our library, about trainings that we offer, about all online resources that we give access to. And two of my favorite examples, it informs about tech talks and about hackathons, meaning that from the very first day you know that anyone at any time in the company can say, hey, I have something interesting to share. There's some knowledge I would like to tell you about this new framework or this new way of doing things, and anyone can just do a tech talk. And about hackathons, that anyone can start a hackathon and anyone can attend a hackathon if someone else is doing one. And also a bunch of other things like, we have language lessons, we have football league, and a bunch of other things. So here is a photo from one of the tech talks. But that's not all. We went even further by building our own iOS app. And now it's coming to Android any moment, soon. So DaftCode app have a lot of interesting functionality, including map of the company. You can learn all about different teams, how to get there. If you want to go to HR, you can actually navigate that. If it's your first day, then the app will tell you where is it, and so on. There is actually indoor navigation, so it will lead you step by step and show you where are you in the office right now. But more importantly, it have event feed, and that became pretty important as the company grew, and we are now approaching 150 people. So if there is a tech talk or there is a hackathon, oftentimes people just didn't know there was a tech talk and hackathon. And now, because we have an app and we have push notifications, people get informed about all the other stuff that's going on in the company, including someone is speaking on the conference or attending a meetup or anything like that. Finally, because we're building engineering culture and we are a heavy engineering company, there is a very nerdy game. There is a rubber duck you can talk to and you can feed it. It's like Tamagotchi. And if you feed it with enough commits, it's gonna tell you a very nerdy and unfunny joke. So that's a duck, and that was Daft code application. So finally, when someone is in the company, important tool for building engineering culture is our hackathons. So why doing hackathons? Well, or how to think about hackathons. Hackathon is 1 day of autonomy. For 1 day, you can do whatever you want. But you can think about it, and especially if you want to talk about it to the management, it's a good idea to talk about 1 day dedicated to sharpen your skills. It's also a good time to learn from others. It often happens that people in the teams are working on a particular part of the project with the same people all the time, and hackathon gives an option to work with someone else that you not necessarily can work on a daily basis with. And first of all, it's fun. So 1 day of doing whatever you want, but it should be connected by a team. It should be connected by a topic. And at the beginning of the day, people are pitching their ideas that relates to the topic, and the firms and teams are formed, and people can start working. And at the end of the day, on a nice fancy meeting with pizza and beer, people can show off their results of their work. So what are the types of hackathons? We came up with a number of types of hackathons. starting with a product hackathon, being a hackathon where you have 1 day to build an MVP of a product. It's a very difficult one, but some teams are able to come up with really neat MVPs of products just in 1 day. But also a huge hit in Daft Code was Feature Hackathon. Feature Hackathon is where you can build any feature to any application or any part of the application in the company. So it's cool for people who are envy to other teams working on some other stuff. They can do whatever they want. And in case of our first feature hackathon, most of the features being developed during the hackathon went to production. And some teams were able to finish the feature just within 1 day, but some of the teams, they had to negotiate extra time with their product owner, and they were actually able to finish it. What else? Any technology. So it happens a lot with the young people that they got very excited as they go to different conferences and they read a lot of blogs about technology. That they get very excited about different technologies because all the other companies are already doing it and it's super fancy and so solve the problem. So this 1 day of autonomy when they can build whatever they want with this dream technology of theirs is very valuable because on one hand they get to do what they wanted, but on the other hand they learn the technology and get some real experience with it. And oftentimes they learn this technology is not as brilliant as it is being advertised on the conferences and on the meetups and on the blogs. But on the other hand, and it happens definitely less often, they learn that, hey, this technology is actually really good for what we do and we can use it and we already have some real life experience. And let's look deeper and decide if we want to actually use it. Which brings me to the next type of hackathon, where there's particular technology hackathon. When you have a technology candidate you would like to use for your next project or to build a part of your projects, and the whole team can build something just in this technology, which brings instantly in 1 day team from knowing almost nothing about technology to actually having some practical experience. And then we have dojos and all kinds of retreats where you can simply learn to code, learn to pair program in pairs, learn to build higher quality software. There is a hardware hackathon where you can take Raspberry Pi or whatever other hardware stuff you want and build your robots and so on. And finally, a good friend of mine did a really nice and original hackathon by doing Lego Storm robot fights. So they buy a bunch of Lego boxes and they were building robots. I think there were 2 hours to build robot, and then they would fight, and then they have another 2 hours to build better robot, and they keep iterating. So that was hackathons, and so here there were 3 examples of building engineering culture, but the fun stuff. Employee branding stuff, stunts, that's always fun. And I gave you an example with Hackroom. Onboarding, employee guidebook on an application, great idea to build engagement starting day 1. And finally, all types of hackathons to sharpen your skills and learn and build more chemistry within the team. So that was my ideas. I wish you all the best building your engineering culture and having fun. Thank you.